Hey everyone, welcome back to Parker's Tutorials. Sorry I've been on a little hiatus lately, but I am back today with a highly requested prop, and that would be a thunder gun. And this week I'm going to show you how to make it. So let's get started. A 13 by 3 inch board of wood, a trigger from an old toy gun, 2 metal containers, 2 black vent things, a leftover hose from the flamethrower, a random metal piece, some thick gauge wire, black tape, some thin cardboard, 2 black rails from some old toy, black spray paint, regular printer paper, newspaper, hot glue gun, various colors of acrylic paint, regular poster board, foam core poster board, and various pieces of PVC pipe. The first step in this project is to take a 3 inch by 13 inch board of wood and take all of your tubes and glue them like shown. The 2 biggest on the bottom, then the 2 on top, then 1 in the middle, and finally 2 more on the top. There should be about 4 inches of wood sticking out. They should all look like this. Once they are all glued together, trace the ends of all the tubes on a poster board. Then cut it out and glue it on flat, like this. Do the same for the other side. Next, I glued some black vent thing I found on one side. Next, place a small plastic container on the back vent. Then, glue a second black vent on the plastic container, like this. Next, I glued 2 black rails I found and glued them on each side of the wood, like this. They should be sticking out about 5 inches. Next, for the trigger handle. I took an old toy gun handle and a small plastic container and glued them on the bottom of the wood, under the tubes. Next, I took 2 circular metal containers and glued them on top of each other. Then, glue them sideways on the wooden tracks. Use lots of glue and make sure they're secure, leaving space in between the tubes and the metal containers. Next, we're going to make the barrel. Now, we're going to make the barrel from scratch using poster board. So take a piece of poster board and cut out a big rectangle and glue it in the shape of a tube. Then cut small 1 inch thick strips of foam core poster board and glue them inside the tube lengthwise for support. Make sure it's level and then glue it on the metal container in front. Flip the gun over and glue on a metal piece for support. Next, take 2 inch thick strips of poster board and glue them on either sides of the tubes, conforming to all of the tubes together. Next, I took some old thick wire and cut it to the size of the barrel and created the designs that are on the actual gun. It's sort of like a grid pattern. After you glue them down, they should look like this. Next, apply plumber's epoxy on the parts where the wires intersect to hide the hot glue. Next, I use thin cardboard to create a gauge box for the side of the gun. Look at a picture and estimate the size of all the parts and components, then glue them to the side of the gun as shown. Next, take leftover 1 inch thick foam core poster board and create the magazine holder supports. Cut halfway through and fold the poster board at 90-degree angle and glue 3 of them on the smaller metal container. This will act as the magazine of the gun. Next, using paper mache, cover the entire gun, excluding metal elements and the tubes. Concentrate on the barrel and magazine, as well as the stock. For a second layer of paper mache, use regular printer paper, and that'll give it extra support. Next, paint all the paper mache parts with black acrylic paint. Then give the entire thing a coat of black spray paint. Next, using various colors of acrylic paint, paint the different parts of the gun. The gauge box should be an orangey tan, and the magazine should be a grayish green. Look at a picture for references of colors. For the middle tubes, paint them white and then paint them yellow. Next, cut black pieces of electrical tape so that they create diagonal stripes, like shown. For the black and yellow stripes on the stock, I decided to cut 1 inch thick poster board and paint them yellow, then cover them with electrical tape in the desired design. Then glued them on the gun instead of painting directly on the gun. Glue on the 2 tubes on the barrel of the gun and decorate the gauge box. I made a homemade gauge, a dial, and cut strips of cardboard to create a side vent. So add some extra wires with some touch-up paint, and you're done. And now it's time for the test film. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode on how to build a thunder gun. Unfortunately, there is not going to be a test film this week, but we will be coming out with a test film for this gun in about a week or so. We're going to be filming this weekend, so stay tuned for that. Alright guys, I will see you next week with a brand new episode of Parker's Tutorials. Thank you for tuning in. Bye everyone.